Welcome back to another episode of What the Poop, the podcast where we talk all about things to do with the colon and the intestinal tract and digestion and living with invisible illness such as Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and we talk about poop. That's really what I'm saying is we talk about poop here. So today I have a special episode for you. We're going to talk about life hacks and tips for living with ulcerative colitis. But really, these apply to anyone dealing with inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's. I just tend to focus on ulcerative colitis because that's my world. But these tips come straight from the community. Welcome to What the Poop, the podcast where we get real about life with ulcerative colitis. I'm your host, Teri Holland, and as someone who has lived with ulcerative colitis for over 3 decades, I know firsthand how unpredictable, exhausting, and isolating this journey can be. But I also know there's power in sharing our stories and supporting one another. So whether you're newly diagnosed or a seasoned UC warrior like me, we're here to laugh, learn, and tackle the tough stuff together. Let's dive into the realities of living with ulcerative colitis because no one should have to do it alone. Let's start out with some everyday life hacks. Living with ulcerative colitis often means dealing with unpredictability. But there are some strategies that I've learned through my 3 decades of this disease and that I've learned from my community about how to make daily life a bit more manageable. One of the most common tips from the community is always plan ahead, especially when it comes to meals. Now, one thing that I recommend doing is keeping a food diary, and this can be incredibly helpful in identifying trigger foods that may be irritating to your ulcerative colitis or your Crohn's, things that may be more irritating during a flare-up. So many people with UC tend to find that prepping meals in advance helps to stick to safer foods. And when I say safer, I want to preface this by saying that we don't want to be afraid of food or develop any phobias of eating certain foods. So when I say safe foods, I mean foods that you know you can reasonably eat without any or very little irritation. So keeping a food journal helps to identify what foods feel the best to you. And this helps to avoid making last-minute food decisions, which could lead to putting you in a difficult position. Another great hack is to develop a good morning routine. And your morning routine might need to include time for multiple bathroom visits. And this may sound simple, but building in extra time in the morning can help to reduce anxiety of getting ready or getting out of the house at a certain time. And it ensures that you're not rushing around, which I know for me can make my symptoms a lot worse. I am now self-employed, but when I used to work a job and I had to be out of the house by a certain time to get to work, it was really important for me to be up by a certain time to give myself a buffer, usually about an extra 2 hours, to make sure that I had time to have a light, gentle, quote unquote, safe breakfast and time to go to the bathroom multiple times before leaving the house. So this can help to reduce a lot of anxiety, and having a relaxed morning routine with a little bit of flexibility built in can make a huge difference in starting your day on a positive note. I know if I'm rushing in the morning during a flare-up, it is guaranteed I will have to go to the bathroom multiple times. Every time I try to leave the house, I'll have to run back in. So I know for me, the best way to avoid this is to just plan with extra time. And then here's a really simple and yet effective tip. And this took me a while to figure out. It seems that people in the ulcerative colitis community figured this out a lot faster than I did, but carry a just-in-case bag. So this could include extra underwear, baby wipes, a change of clothes, any medication that you might need. You might want to include some safe snacks in case you find yourself away from the house for a longer period of time and you need something to eat or you just get hungry. Having this bag can give you a lot of peace of mind, and it can be a lifesaver in unexpected situations. And I would add to this list to keep like a wet bag in there so that you can put any soiled clothing in that bag and it's protecting the rest of your stuff. So that's something you might want to do. I know for myself, during a flare-up. There are times when I have just um, also brought like a plastic bag to just throw my clothes out because sometimes I have no interest in trying to save them. I put them in a plastic bag and I find a garbage can or I find a dumpster to throw it into. I don't know if that's the most sanitary way to do it, but we do what we've got to do. We just do what we've got to do. So having that just in case bag is a lifesaver in many situations. Now let's talk about traveling with UC. This can be daunting, but with some preparation, it doesn't have to be terrible. I mean, I'm not going to say it's great. Traveling with UC is not great, especially during a flare-up, but there are ways that we can manage it. Again, this all comes down to planning ahead and know your resources. So one of the top tips from the community is always research bathrooms before you go. Know where your bathrooms are going to be. If you're going into an airport, know where the bathrooms are. Know where they are before you go through security, and then after security, where they are by the gate. Have a plan, because especially if you're getting nervous about traveling, if you're a nervous traveler, or if you get anxious about traveling because of your UC, know where the bathrooms are helps a lot. And just knowing that can give a lot of peace of mind. When you're flying, it's a great idea to ask for an aisle seat. This gives you better access to the bathrooms without having to climb over other passengers. I know one of the things that gives me UC anxiety is if I have a middle or a window seat and I have to go to the bathroom multiple times, and then I feel like I'm being a nuisance and drawing attention to myself for continually climbing over people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a window seat. I love to watch the view. But during a flare-up, I will take an aisle seat any day just to avoid that discomfort of climbing over other people. So that can make a big difference. And a simple heads up to the crew can also help, because maybe if you are traveling in economy class and there's, say, one bathroom for that whole cabin and you have to go if there's a lineup, if the crew knows in advance that you have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or any sort of digestive issues, they're more likely to assist you by helping you use the bathroom in first class, which is a lot smaller and therefore less likely to be busy. So they are more likely to work with you if you tell them about your condition. Pack snacks that are safe for you to eat. Airports and rest stops don't always have the best options for us. I mean, let's face it, they don't have the best options for anyone trying to eat healthy or be mindful of their eating. It's hard to make just healthy choices. When you add ulcerative colitis to the mix, it can be even harder. And you don't want to choose foods that are going to trigger a flare-up or irritate your colitis. And remember, stay hydrated. It is so important for us to be on top of our hydration. Dehydration can exacerbate symptoms, so always have water with you. Whether you can bring your own water bottle or if you can buy one wherever you're going, make sure you always have water. You might want to even carry electrolytes to put in your water. That's one of the issues we struggle with UC is keeping our electrolytes up. I use electrolytes that I buy from Arbonne. It's a multi-level marketing company. I don't sell it, but I do enjoy their hydration sticks. I find they work really well for me. But you can also just pick up a Gatorade while you're on the go. My preference is the sugar-free Gatorade if I'm doing Gatorade, because I find sugar is very irritating for my gut. So I will choose a sugar-free one. And that's why I like the Arbonne hydration sticks, is that they don't have sugar or anything that's potentially going to irritate me. So I like those. You can even just put a little bit of salt into your water bottle and add your own minerals. That works just as well. Just as well. Personally, I like a little flavor. I like a little flavor in my water too. So make sure you're hydrating. And if you are going on a road trip, and I'm going to do another episode later this week specifically about road trips, because I will be going on a road trip next week. And I'm going to do an episode specifically on long drives, because I have a lot of strategies to share. But in general, plan out your route. Know where the rest stops are. Know where they're going to be. For me, it's totally psychological that if I know where the next rest stop is, and I have it planned out and I've mapped them out, then it gives me the peace of mind of knowing, okay, 30 minutes till the next bathroom. It's 1 hour to the next bathroom. So always plan ahead. I cannot stress that enough. Having ulcerative colitis makes us incredible planners. Okay, let's talk about social situations. Social situations can be tricky with UC, but there are ways to make them less stressful. And one of my tips is to always have an escape plan. This doesn't mean you have to be on edge all the time, but knowing where the nearest bathrooms are, again, planning ahead, know where the bathrooms are, is really helpful. And having an excuse ready can make you feel more at ease. If you're not comfortable telling the people around you that you have UC or Crohn's or whatever issue you're dealing with, if you don't want to disclose that, you don't have to, but have an excuse ready for why you need to make an early exit. I always use my dogs. I say, oh, we can't leave the dogs for too long. We got to get home and get the dogs out. And people always accept that. I mean, now I'm very outspoken about having ulcerative colitis, so I'll just say I'm not feeling well, I'm going home. And that is it, and people generally accept that. But if you have that escape plan of what's going to help you leave quickly, that can give you a lot of peace of mind if you don't want to disclose that you have ulcerative colitis. I do find it helpful, though, if your close friends and family know. Even if you don't want to tell the whole world. I mean, I'm telling the whole world right now. But if you don't want to let everyone know, but your close friends and your family know, if they understand why you're leaving quickly, they can be supportive in helping make sure that other people don't pressure you to stay, those more distant connections. Having a support system who understands your situation really makes socializing a lot easier. And another tip that came from the community is to be selective about your invitations. And I love this one. It is okay to say no if you're not feeling up to it. Focusing on attending events where you feel comfortable and you know you have access to a bathroom if needed makes a big difference. So for instance, outdoor picnics might, if there's no bathroom in that park, that might feel a little daunting. Whereas going to someone's home where you know there's access to a bathroom and you know the layout of their home might feel a lot more comfortable. I avoid going on any social situations where there's hiking or, if we're going into an area where I know there will not be bathrooms, unless I am in remission and feeling pretty confident in my colitis. But otherwise, I just avoid those activities. I'm a part of several networking groups who like to get together and hike. Listen, I live in Vancouver, Canada. Everyone here is a hiker. It's a thing here. Everyone goes hiking. I just avoid those situations, and I feel very comfortable telling people, no, I just say, no, I'm not a hiker, but I'll meet you for coffee. Because I feel more comfortable meeting someone in a restaurant or in a cafe where I know there are bathrooms. Now, my favorite restaurants and cafes are ones where you don't need a security code or you don't need a key to access the bathroom. That's another tip from me is seek out places where there's no barrier to access the bathroom. And I find you'll find those places more sort of out into the suburbs, quieter communities, where they don't have to monitor the bathrooms as closely. I love those places. Or if you do frequent, say, a local Starbucks that does have a lock, often they have a keypad, and I find they don't change the numbers very often. So, little spoiler alert for my local Starbucks that I frequently have meetings at. I know the codes. I keep them in my phone so that if I have to go, I don't have to stop and ask for it. I can get myself in. So that's something you might want to consider as well. But if it's a keyed bathroom, the worst, in my opinion, is when you're having a flare-up and you have to wait in line just to get the key to go to the bathroom. That isn't fun for anyone. So try to source places out where that's not going to be an issue. Okay, self-care and mental health. Let's not forget about the importance of self-care and mental health. Living with ulcerative colitis can be exhausting, both emotionally and physically. One of the best pieces of advice from the community is to prioritize self-care. And this could mean prioritizing rest when you need to rest, finding relaxation techniques that help you to de-stress. I'm a hypnotherapist. I find self-hypnosis works really well for me. Meditation is a great practice as well. And I'll link a resource in the show notes that will give you a 30-day all-access pass to Aura, which is a mental wellness app. There are over 30,000 pieces of content on Aura to help you with mindfulness, relaxation, breath work. There's so much there for you to explore. And for 30 days, you'll have all access if you use the link in the show notes. Full disclosure, it is an affiliate link. So I do get a little bit of money if you stay on and you sign up with it. So I want to disclose that up front. Even if I didn't, though, I would still support the Aura app because it's an incredible resource. And all of my hypnosis recordings are there, so feel free to check those out as well. So many people find that meditation is helpful. Yoga can be very beneficial. Anything that helps you to reduce your stress, which in turn helps to manage symptoms. So even just a few minutes of deep breathing, whatever you can do to help you lower your stress is going to be helpful. And stay connected with your support network, whether it's a close friend, family, or an online support group. Having someone that you can talk to can be incredibly helpful. One that I have found helpful is Reddit. Just having other people who know what I'm going through, who have experienced the same things. Sometimes I just want to read all the funny stuff in there because I think we need to be able to laugh at this stuff. And I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. So I recommend finding something like that, a place where you can go and connect with other people who have ulcerative colitis, who have Crohn's, who have inflammatory bowel disease, and who get it, and who aren't afraid to talk about poop because, let's face it, not many people outside of our world want to talk about poop. That's why I started this podcast. So finding that community can really help. It can help to deal with those feelings of being alone or dealing with isolation. And remember, it's always okay to seek professional help. Talking to a therapist who understands chronic illness can provide amazing strategies for managing stress and maintaining a positive outlook. Even just having a safe space where you can vent and talk freely without judgment can go a long, long way. So before we wrap up, I just want to recap some of these tips and share a couple of my favorites from the community and ones that I've shared today. So 1, keep a list of foods that are safe. Remember, safe does not mean any foods are bad or wrong, just the foods that are safe for your body. And restaurants where you know you can eat something, where there's something on the menu you feel really comfortable eating. Considering apps. Oh, I forgot to mention the apps earlier. Consider using apps that help you locate bathroom when you're out. These can be a huge lifesaver. But always plan and prepare. Know where your bathrooms are. And always carry a go bag. I call it a go bag, but always carry a bag with your essentials, change of clothes, wipes, anything you might need in any situation. And finally, just remember to be kind to yourself. Living with ulcerative colitis is challenging, but you are not alone. And I know you're doing great. So thanks for joining me on this episode of What the Poop. I hope these life hacks and tips have given you some ideas for managing your ulcerative colitis. And remember, every little bit helps. Finding what works for you is key. We are all different. We experience our ulcerative colitis differently. And what works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. Also, if you have any tips or tricks that you want to share, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me on social media. I'll put all the links in the show notes. Or leave a comment if you're listening on a platform that allows you to leave comments, like Spotify. Feel free to leave a comment as well. And remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show if you enjoyed this episode, or share it with someone who has ulcerative colitis to help them out too. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep finding those hacks that work, and remember, you've got this. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of What the Poop.